Hey everybody, welcome back to another fun-filled episode of Super Geeked. With me today is
Rachel
and
Victoria,
and I'm Oliver, and we are here to bring you a very special review video, right?
right?
And I'm going to let the ladies tell you a little bit about what we're doing.
So today we're talking about an amazing perfumer named Dana Dark, and she has a brand called House of Phaedra. It's her latest brand that she's done this under, but she's been into making fragrances and perfumery for a long time. And we want to tell you about her, and we want to tell you about her brand because we have just, all three of us, fallen in love with her fragrances. They're very special. I'm going to talk to Rachel first because Rachel is the person who introduced me to Dana.
Yeah, I fell in love with her perfumes. I heard about them through a friend of mine, and I was like, my husband is actually allergic to a regular perfume, so I thought I was like, I'm going to try something different. And I've always loved essential oils, so I got some of hers to try out, and I became obsessed.
And you found her when she was several incarnations back of her making fragrances. And so Rachel's been wearing them for a while. And
Always smelled really nice too.
I was completely enchanted by these smells. Every time I saw Rachel, I would go up and very creepily smell her hair. I mean, just steady sniffing her because they're that amazing. And I would hear people comment, oh my gosh, what is that smell? Who smells like that? Yeah.
And they last forever.
They do.
The
they
scent.
last. Like I have cardigans that I'll, randomly wear a cardigan and it still smells the perfume like days later. So they last forever.
They sure do.
I put them in my hair so I can smell it all the time.
I actually tested one just 2 days ago, and I actually wore it to the gym, and it seemed like the more I sweat, of course, that aroma is coming out, and I could smell it the whole time I was at the gym, and I know other people did too, and then even after I showered, you still have a faint.
You still have a faint of it.
So it lasts so long. It's so worth the money.
Yeah, they're very high quality. Very high quality. Sometimes you get essential oils and it's that just kind of like fake.
Yeah, you can tell they're synthetic.
Synthetic smell. Hers are 100%
all natural.
All natural. They're just so relaxing. They just bring back my, goth years in the 90s. And
it's funny you say that because that every single one of them, not only the names that she chooses for them is very indicative of the gothness, but I
think that's because she's goth.
But at the same time, her imagery, the scent themselves, even, and it does the same thing for me. It's very nostalgic, especially.
It's so nostalgic, and it reminds me of like when in the 90s. Walking through New Orleans, going to the voodoo shops, and
gargoyles,
and Relevos, and just like hanging out in New Orleans, and walking around the quarter, and being a spooky goth kid in the 90s. Like Oliver said, it's very nostalgic. It reminds me of those good memories of when I was a teenager, and because scent is related to memory, and it always brings back those memories.
Right.
Dana talks about that. Okay. I asked Dana a bunch of questions about House of Phaedra and her development of these fragrances. So she says that. She says that when she develops these fragrances, sometimes she uses memories to drive where she goes with these fragrances. So that's really neat that you said that.
It totally does. That's the first ones I got, I was just like, I remember being in New oh, what is I smelling this? Or going,
And what did I tell you just a few minutes ago?
Yeah,
the one that reminded me of
Yayas.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I was not a goth kid. I was a punk kid. But
yeah,
and I always equated patchouli with the goth kids.
Yeah.
What's so funny is one of the fragrances that Rachel was wearing all the time was a blend with patchouli, which is her rosachuli, which is one of her most popular fragrances. And I purchased it. I mix it now with a lot of Dana's other fragrances. And I love it.
Yeah.
Like I never thought that I'd be one of those people that wore something with patchouli, but I really love it.
It's so relaxing. And that's what's cool is like with me is a lot of her different, like I have a variety of her different oils and I mix a lot of them just depending on what mood I'm in,
Me too.
Because they'll give similar but a little bit different smells. And it's just kind of what mood I'm in. I'm like, I kind of want to go with a spicier smell. I kind of want to go with a more floral, sweet smell. It just kind of depends on what's going on, and what kind of mood I'm in that day.
The really cool thing about these oils and fragrances and perfumes is that they pick up on your natural fragrances. So your natural, pheromones that your body releases, and obviously some smells smell different on different people.
That's right.
But I do the same thing as Rachel. I mix a lot of these fragrances. So I like things with a lot more floral notes, where she likes a lot more earthy notes. But I add some of those earthy notes in with the florals. And it's really cool because a lot of Haus of Phaedra's fragrances go together. And even though they may have some very different scents within the fragrances, they really blend really well. And then they blend with your natural fragrance. So that's what's so cool about these oils. And I can't say enough about how just absolutely enchanting they are, because they are just beautiful scents. And when we were prepping for this video, and Rachel obviously has a lot more samples of Dana's from all of the incarnations of all the brands she's been under, which are all listed on her Instagram, which we'll link below. She has a very large collection of the different fragrances, and we were testing some. I also have a bunch of samples that I got from Dana to smell. Because I'm newer to her fragrances, and Oliver was smelling them too, and he became in love with them so much that he placed an order before we even did this video. So
Two orders actually.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I've got another order I'm waiting to arrive.
I want to make a new order because she has some new stuff out.
Me too.
Yeah.
So we're totally like hooked, all three of us. And so she did not ask us to make this video.
No.
I did not even know Dana until I reached out to her about some fragrances, and I just told her we're just absolutely like in love with these. So we want to do something and really talk about, how special her skills are at making these fragrances. So.
And it's also worth noting that these are not gender specific. So it doesn't matter, and like Victoria said, these blend with your natural chemistry and can give off, when I wear one, it's going to smell completely different from what these two have on. Even though I think I go for a little bit more, I think I'm a little bit more earthy than floral, but I do like the rosachuli, and I have worn that. And it even something that may smell very, very feminine on these two will smell completely different and more masculine for me. And it's not that different, but you do notice a hint.
So something really cool, if you place an order with Haus of Phaedra and order one of her perfumes or fragrances, her perfume oils, then she sends these samples. And they are just these little samples, and you can also buy one of these sample boxes. I think these are $18, but we'll link her Etsy below. But inside these, they have, I think 4 or 5 fragrances that you can order with these.
And you can mix it up. You can pick out of all her scents. You pick which samples you want in the sample tin. Right.
So you can choose what samples you want in your sample tin. But also, I just had her pick them because she had some new fragrances that she didn't have before, and so I let her put whatever she wanted in my tin. So that's also an option too if you don't, because she's got so many. And you can read the descriptions, but sometimes it's hard to know. So you can also leave it up to her. to send you whatever. So.
Yeah.
And she also sells candles. She makes candles. She makes bath bombs.
I have her soap, and it's amazing.
And so she's going to have a lot more products that are coming out soon because Dana actually just launched House of Phaedra in October. So this is the newest brand that she's under, and she's just starting out again with this new brand. But you'll see a lot of the old favorites on House of Phaedra, and then she's got a lot of new scents that she's cooking up. So definitely check out her Etsy store. You will not be disappointed if you just go through and read the reviews on her products.
Absolutely.
I mean, they aren't just good, they're amazing. They really are.
I love them. I mean, I have like duplicates because I'm scared I'm gonna run out. Like when I get like half a bottle, I go ahead and buy a new bottle because I'm like, I don't want to run out. So I have like 3 of one just in case.
And it's also worth mentioning that they're extremely affordable.
And they come in they come in awesome glass bottles, which you can reuse for other oils as well.
And as we said before, not only are they're extremely affordable, they're not expensive at all, they're all natural, and they last so long. Yeah. So they're you get a lot more bang for your buck than you would for like a
Well, the thing is, you don't have to use as much. Okay, so I do like to cover myself in them. I like to bathe in them. But the thing is, they are very
concentrated.
So you don't have to use as much, so they will last you a really, a good while.
So I think what we're going to do next is we're going to talk about the history of her and her fragrance making. I asked Dana some questions that we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to let Rachel talk about some of the scents that she loves that we all really have clung onto, but she's going to talk about what's in those fragrances. So the first thing I talked to Dana about was I asked her about how she got started in creating these fragrances and perfumes. So she said she started dabbling in making perfume oils in about 1993. And she would go to Renaissance festivals in Texas. That's where she's from. She's from Houston. And she said there was a booth that sold all types of intriguing essential oils from around the world. And that's when she fell in love with these essential oils. She said she'd already fallen in love with patchouli in the late 80s because, again, she's a goth kid. Picking up these new essential oils across the world expanded her knowledge of the kind of essential oils that are out there. In 1995, she started working at a local alternative store, and it was called Love Street. It's in the Montrose area of Houston. She said it's a big alternative art area in Houston. She was telling the owner of the place she worked at about these essential oils that she had seen at the Renaissance Festival.
Essential oils?
Essential oils that she had seen at the Renaissance Festival.
There's Southern drawls coming out.
Earls.
Shut up.
Selling Earls.
So they contacted them to carry them in the store. But at that time, she was getting into witchcraft, which she was also reading about magical properties of oils and making magical mixtures. She was basically taught in the traditional sense of witchery, perfumery. And then she was basically self-taught, so she just learned by buying books.
Yeah.
Okay, so I asked her, how does she go about selecting the elements that she puts in these perfumes and fragrances? Because we know there's a lot and they're very special. Each of the scents, even though they may have some of the same essential oils in them, they're also very special. So she said she chooses them based on her intuition for perfume, and if it's going to be a perfume with magical intent, then she uses the elements that correlate with those properties. She's very intentional on what she chooses for the, magical side of it. Then she'll choose some that go best with the other fragrances, that aren't basically based on those elements that need to be within the perfume. Okay, so when she does like a fun holiday scent like Halloween, she'll base it on memories, or she'll base it on scents of the holiday, or if she goes somewhere and picks up fragrances, she'll it'll inspire her to create something for that holiday. So she had this dream of opening this like shabby chic little store, but with darker elements.
I would totally go to that.
I know you would.
Totally would too.
Well, there was a few when we went to London, There were a few little shops like that, and I love them.
So she said it would have like old perfumes, witchy items, antique trinkets.
Yeah, we get there.
Basically a little magical witch shop. You might stumble across an unusual place. That sounds fun.
That sounds
Dana,
so
you need to
much
do
fun.
that. So we can come visit you. So her intention has always been to sell the fragrances and magical items. And then her other intention is just try to help people on their spiritual path. So if she can do that through her store and the things that she creates, then that's what she's striving to do.
That sounds awesome. I don't know. They've done a lot, I think with me is, I enjoy the smells. They bring back a lot of memories of my younger days. But they're also very relaxing. Like, if I have a bad day, I'll totally put on some of her perfume just because the smells make me feel better. But
They do too. They make me happy.
Yeah, smells do that. And so I really enjoy them. Like, some of my favorites, I know we talked earlier about we're going to go over some scents. Like, she has a new one called Antoinette.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
It's amazing.
It is. I'm ordering it. Show them the bottle. It's just a really big bottle.
It's a big bottle.
May I?
Yes. It's one of my favorites.
That's one of her more expensive ones, but it's totally worth it.
But it's a larger bottle. It's patchouli, cedar, and fall spices.
Oh, yeah.
But I've actually mixed that as well with the rose patchouli. If you want a little bit of floral on the back end of the smell, just to kind of change it up. But I love that. And her bottle, her imagery, and...
That's what I wanted to talk about. That...
Well, I'll let you
I'm
talk
glad,
about
no. I'm glad that you brought it up.
I was about to fight somebody over this.
No, I'm not going to fight you. That's one of the things that I wanted to bring up, but I'm glad that you did.
I think that'll mean a lot to her because she worked very hard on her graphics, and she sort of
oh my God.
had to put House of Phaedra together quickly to get it out for October.
Oh, yeah.
But it does not, there's nothing, okay, let me just say, there's nothing about this that looks or feels rushed.
No,
Nothing.
it doesn't.
The oils themselves, the graphics that she chooses, they're all just so appropriate and beautiful.
She did not launch all of her entire collection of fragrances because she was trying to get them out for Halloween. And so she just released some of them. So she's constantly going to be releasing new fragrances and new scents for us to enjoy.
It smells spicier on him than me.
Oh, it does smell spicy.
Whoa! It smells a lot spicier.
Ooh, I like that.
See, then we're just testing out stuff now. Like, it smells to me a lot spicier on you.
It's more feminine. That's more feminine.
Yeah. I love it.
Like the cedar and the spice come out on you more.
Good. I like that one.
But no, I mean, like, that's one of her new ones. One of my favorites that it's a spicier one. It's called Scarlet Dragon.
That's my
favorite. It's dragon's blood, cardamom, and spices, which I really enjoy. I love anything with cardamom or spices.
That's one of the ones you ordered, correct?
Yes.
But it's spicy, but it has, with the dragon's blood, it kind of has a little bit of fruity, so it has that warm fruitiness to it, and that I really enjoy. I like warm smells.
That's the one that I was referring to earlier that triggered memories for me.
That's one that...
that's the one that triggered my memories. We used to have, really quick, we used to have a store in Biloxi, in Edgewater Village. It was called Yaya's, and we still have it. It still exists. It's a little different from what it used to be. Mm-hmm. But they sold like punk rock and goth and metal T-shirts and jewelry and spikes and studs, incense.
Yeah, lots of incense.
Lots of incense.
All kinds of stuff like that. And when you walked in there, when you walked into that, immediately whenever I smelled that Scarlet Dragon, it was like, that took me back to Yaya's, back when we were punk rock kids, going in there buying Dead Kennedys shirts.
Yeah, because that was back then. That was one of the only places that you could get stuff like that, especially on the coast.
That's right. Here in South Mississippi, we didn't have a whole lot of options there, and that was a hangout. Which we had friends that worked there and stuff. So it was. So that immediately triggered my memory of that, and I love that she talked about using memory as part of her
One of my favorites, because I like a lot of sweet smells too. Some days I just want to do all sweet. This is a fragrance that she doesn't have released yet, but it's called Marie Antoinette, or just think it's just called Antoinette. And it's what are those round things? They're not called whoopie pies. They're like
macarons.
Yeah, macaroons.
Macarons.
Macaroons.
Macarons. Okay, macaroons are the coconut thingies. Macarons is a French.
Okay. Anyway, it's so good. It's so sweet.
That is sweet.
Yes. And so Dana surprised me and sent me that. She will have it available eventually in Haus of Phaedra. And then there's another new fragrance that she sent me to smell in my sample box when I ordered my little sample box. And it's called Juju.
I have that one.
And oh my gosh, Juju is so good.
Juju is warm brown sugar, cedar, fig, and poisonous green apple. If I can get this open.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
scared
very
with
good.
These little things.
Yeah, I have it also.
Do like psh, and it's gonna go everywhere.
So I like the Juju a lot, and I like the Antoinette a lot because they're sweeter smells.
I think I've smelled this one.
It smells different. On.
I like
smell
that.
It on me. It smells different.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh.
Put it on you.
Memory trigger.
Yeah.
I just
Put
had
it on you.
I just had a memory
See,
trigger.
on me, I can smell a lot of like the fig and the apple, but it smells different on
Oh,
there.
it smells different. I smell.
Oh God, it does. Smells completely different.
I smell like beachier, like
that does
like fruit.
That is.
Well, it has fig and apple in it and brown sugar.
Yeah,
and
but
cedar.
on me it does not smell
different.
fruity.
It smells different.
I can smell more of that brown sugar.
Well, you know I like my brown sugar.
Oh Lord.
You're a mess.
If y'all didn't know that about Oliver.
If you didn't know that, I like my brown sugar. That does. That smell. I like that. That's
It's not a fragrance that you normally would pick, though.
No, it's not.
And yet it smells.
But it smells nice.
Oh my God, you guys, you're creating an expensive habit for me.
She did it to me. In fact, when I reached out to Dana, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like somebody literally got me addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
And I can't get any drugs.
Like, I usually get, like, when I make an order, I'll get a minimum of 3. Minimum 3. I have gotten up to 5. And some extra stuff.
You have a serious problem.
I love it. But, I mean, there's a lot. Like, I have a few different ones. Like, some of her new...
Why don't you talk about Blood Witch? Because we both...
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
That's one of my favorites, too. Have you smelled Blood Witch?
I don't know if I have.
It's spices, clove, anise, black plum, and incense.
So we mix the Blood Witch with the Rose of Patchouli.
Yes. I'll sometimes wear it by itself, but I do like to mix it with the Rose of Patchouli because it gives it a little bit more of a warmth. It gives it a little bit more of a warm smell, which I really like the warm smells.
Smell it on him.
That smells nice on you.
It's sharp, though, isn't it?
Now,
I mean, it's like not in a bad way.
Mix it with the Rose of Patchouli.
Roll this right where you put it.
Yeah, because see,
I love this.
What I do now.
Now smell it.
Now smell it. See, we like to mix them.
That almost smells like a cherry. Smells like a cherry tree.
Yeah, but it gives it a little warmness to it, which I really enjoy. I just like warm smells. They make me happy.
That's nice.
Right? That's what I smell like
nice.
all the time.
I like that.
Too.
I know, you always smell nice.
I smell like Rachel, so I go around going,
so I'm
myself now. Now I'm creepy smelling myself.
I'm going to talk about my favorite, which the first one that Rachel got me hooked on, the one I fell in love with besides Scarlet Dragon, which I'm still waiting for that to arrive, is In the Grave. Are you going to you gonna
In the Grave, it's Dirk, Patchouli, and Wormwood.
And Wormwood?
Mm-hmm. Dirk, Patchouli, and Wormwood.
Oh, this smells so good on me. I love this. This is my favorite.
It's very clean. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of like winter.
It's funny as dirt in it. You're saying it sounds very
clean. It sounds good.
Well, no, it reminds me of like memory trigger for me is like it reminds me of like walking because I used to. Okay, before I had a car, I used to walk to a coffee shop all the time. So it just reminds me of walking to the coffee shop, which was like 2 miles away, like in the winter, overcast day, listening to my cassette tape.
What? This is getting really in depth.
Yeah, what are we listening to?
The Shroud. they're like a nice girl. I'll let you listen to them. They're really good. And once you listen to them, you'll be like, and then think of the smells. You'll be like,
oh, I'm goth now.
No, but you'll be like, oh, okay, I can see Rachel doing that. But that's what it reminds me too of. It triggers those memories. Kind of overcast winter day. Listening to some music on my Walkman, walking to a coffee shop. That's what it reminds me of. And those are good memories. Those are fun memories.
So she's also going to have ritual candles, incense, and jewelry. She's going to have the solid perfumes like you were talking about. Cool. And a witch's dream flying ointment coming out. Doesn't that sound so fun?
That does sound fun. I know I can't. I'm trying not to just sit here and smell myself.
Well, I smell all this blend.
The thing is, even though like we have like multiple different smells on us, it all blends well together, and
it's not like normal perfumes.
No,
like if you're used to just wearing normal perfumes and not any sort of essential oils or essential oil based perfumes, then you don't realize that you can mix fragrances, especially when you're taking your own chemistry and then basically the chemistry of these scents, and you can mix them together. Whereas if you go to the store and buy some perfume that's synthetic smells and things like that, you can't mix them. I mean, they smell terrible.
But we've tried at least 5, and it all still smells wonderful.
And let me just also say that I am somewhat hypersensitive when it comes to my sense of smell. I always have been. I inherited that. And I'm very, very sensitive to perfumes. I mean, perfumes, if someone comes in with too sweet of a perfume or cologne or something, it's been known to give me headaches. None of these, and sitting right here right now, having smelled all of these and even having most of them on, I do not get headaches from these, and they do not offend me in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I wanted to try. Honestly, that's why I wanted to try them out, because, like I said earlier, my husband he can't be around people with perfume. I have perfume that was like my mom's perfume that has memories of her for me, and I don't wear it because it bothers any kind of perfume bothers him. Like he'll start getting, like Oliver does, start getting sinus headaches. He'll get real congested. So I was like, well, I'm going to try these out because I've always loved essential oils. I use essential oils in my henna, so I've always enjoyed them. So I was like, I'm going to try these out. And he loves the smells of them because they remind him of a lot of the same memories. We've been together for like 22 years. So,
say it louder.
So, 22 years. We've been together forever.
Since she was a baby.
So, with this, it brings back a lot of the same memories and that I have with them, because a lot of those are the same memories of us together. So I'm very excited about that.
And if you don't do anything else, at least go over to her Etsy page and look at her graphics. I can't say enough about it.
Beautiful.
She's got, it has an aesthetic of of age, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of has that age aesthetic, kind of Victorian
very
aspect
Victorian.
to it.
Very classic.
Which makes sense when she said she's really into that, like, sort of shabby chic.
Yeah.
With the darker, witchier vibe, it makes sense that her graphics. I told her that I'm a graphic designer. I love her logo. I told her, I said I was so impressed when she came out with her logo. I have to say, I'm very excited. Maybe it makes me a super fan now, but I was her first order on Etsy when she launched, before she launched House of Phaedra. Yeah. She set up an order for me, because this stuff's like crack, you guys. Like, I legit was like fiending, and I had run out. And so she set up an order for me. So I was her first customer on her Etsy, her new Etsy for House of Phaedra. And I'm just hooked. Like, I already want to make another order. And
I do too now.
Rachel just completely...
Oh, yeah. I've got other friends into it. I bought these as gifts for friends who I think would really love them.
What? We didn't get any.
I know, right?
Rude.
Oh my God, why are we friends with her?
I don't know. Why did we invite her to be part of Super Geeked?
It was your idea.
It was your idea. So she is a one-woman show. She's going to be rolling out more and more fragrances and perfumes as she goes along. Like I said, she just launched at the beginning of October. So she is not even a month out yet. And so far she's doing great. She's having great success with it. But I cannot wait to see what else she comes out with. I know she has a lot of stuff up her sleeves, and she's very intentional with the elements that she gets to put into these fragrances. So, whoever she, whatever distributor she goes through, she's very careful about who she selects them from to make sure that they are very organic and special, and they're not these chemical-based, manufactured synthetic fragrances. These are real essential oils in these perfumes.
They're wonderful.
They are wonderful.
They're wonderfully magical.
Rachel, thank you so much for introducing me to
You're welcome.
Yes.
I'm so excited that y'all love them as much as I do.
I love that we're going to walk down the street and everybody's going to be like, dang, you guys smell good.
I went into a jewelry store and I've had ladies be like, what are you wearing? And I'm like, well, it's this little shop and this is what it is. She's like, I love that. I'm like, you should check her out. She's amazing.
She is amazing.
So,
My employees and my coworkers both have commented on how nice they smell.
yeah.
So Dana, thank you so much for sharing your fragrances with the world. We are absolutely in love. We can't wait to see what you do next.
I'm excited.
And thank you for sharing information about you and Haus of Phaedra and how you create your scents and your perfumes, because we were just super excited to do this because we legitimately just love these.
We want to share it with everybody.
Yes.
So.
We want you to get super geeked about it.
Yeah.
Because we are super geeked about it.
We are super geeked.
If you like this video and you're not following us, now is the time. You've got to get on board with us. Subscribe, please. What are you waiting for? And while you're at it, hit that like button down there, that little like button. Yeah, and that notification bell. Hit that bell too. You need to hit that notification bell so that you know when we have new videos coming out, and we're going to have new videos coming out all the time.
Yep. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you guys.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
One love.